This is a great group, and by the way, I don't have this on my list, but the Brodeur Partners, if you like the academics of direct mail, direct marketing, if you want a really interesting book, the Brodeur Partners are really at the top of the game right now. Honestly, all of the partners have to publish. So they're constantly doing research, they're constantly writing, and they wrote a book, as you can see here, about relevancy. Are you still relevant? They also came up with the 4 filters of relevancy. They basically said you could take any concept, any service, any product, and put it through these filters to see, in fact, what your chances are of having something that is relevant to your audience. I can't recommend the book highly enough. I will tell you up front, it's a dry read. It's academic. But there's somebody in your company or somebody in your group to whom this is going to be extraordinarily relevant, and I've got to tell you something. The information is invaluable. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. So this is what it comes down to when we talk about frequency. Yes, you should be sending something at least every 4 to 6 weeks. What is the most successful, people always ask me this, what is the most successful campaign? The 4 postcard campaign. Printed all at the same time, on one sheet, digitally, changing the message on each of the postcards, I'll show you how, and then dropping it basically every 7 to 10 days so that you have that stretch where you are in front of somebody. Keep in mind, the biggest challenge we have right now in marketing is attention span. Is staying in front of somebody. That frequency becomes important because you want to stay top of mind so when the buying decision occurs that you are the brand. The single most difficult survey right now is known as the unassisted survey. So let's do this together. If I say chewing gum, I'm not giving you a list to choose from, I'm just saying chewing gum, what's the brand or brands that come to your mind? If I say, automobiles, if I say jeans, if I say track shoes, my point is this, that those 1-2 companies that came up in your mind have done a good job of branding. Because when that buying experience comes up and you think, oh, yeah, I like them and I'm going to buy them, that's what it's all about. It does not mean a thing until they buy your product. That's the truth. So, in the book, I'm going to move real quickly now because a lot of this is in the book, but it's well worth it. Here's the key. In the United States, right now, 151 million mailboxes. Okay? For the United States, 30 pieces of direct mail per mailbox per week. You are fighting a battle. Okay? Because it's 120 pieces of direct mail a month. There's a lot of competition. This also includes magazine advertising, circulars, couponing, papers, newspapers, etc., that are still extraordinarily relevant. The key of direct mail, first of all, is that it's an extraordinarily mature industry. In the United States, it's one of the oldest, quite frankly. I mean, I don't need to talk to you about Sears Roebuck catalog or the Stagecoach or anything else, but I will share with you that most of the rules of engagement in direct mail for us were written in the 60s and 70s, and only now are being rewritten to, in fact, relate to how we are evolving. This is probably a great example, the 40-40-20 rule, written in 1963, and has really held true for the longest time. 40% of the success of a campaign, of a direct mail campaign, is directly attributable to the quality of the list. List hygiene, quality of list, where did you get it, sub-targeting, etc. Okay? 40% of the success of a campaign is attributable to the offer. Is it organic? Is it relevant? Does it answer the 2 primary questions, why should I and by when? Key point, every direct mail campaign should have a sense of urgency. You have to act now. I don't have to say act now, but I have to imply act now. Depending on my audience, sometimes they need a push, or sometimes they just need a reminder. Sometimes they need an incentive, and sometimes there are ways for me to get them to act. And that is exactly what the psychographics is all about. 20% of the success of a campaign is attributable to everything else. Primarily the graphics. And I have to tell you, as a designer, I was insulted. Because I happen to know that design rules. But the fact of it is, it really is, design is really about 20% of the success of a campaign. Key point, direct mail is copy-driven, first and foremost. Copywriting is singularly the most important thing. It can be terse, it could be bullet-pointed, but if they're the right words, they will get people to act. Now, this has been true, honest to God, has been true for at least 40 years, 45 years, until recently it changed, and now the new numbers are, instead of 40-40-20, 60-30-10, for one primary reason. And this is where technology comes in. Big data has impacted all of these. The ability to compute enormous amounts of data to be able to get not just to a targeted audience, but to a sub-targeted audience. Let me give you a very quick case study. I'm working on a very interesting consulting project right now. I can't share the specifics, but major department store, you all know who they are. We're trying to figure out how to incentivize sub-targeted groups. We are taking an entire month of sales on the individual item level, cross-referencing it to what time, what day, what other departments, what credit card. I mean, we keep throwing all these new filters. So here's the interesting thing, is in fact, I know moms shop on Tuesday mornings. They go to several different departments, and that they typically use this credit card. So now we're going to do co-op advertising with that credit card. We're doing a sub-targeted list to those women who we know have kids, who we know shop on Tuesdays. We're going to give them a dramatic sale on a Tuesday morning if they use this credit card. And right now, when we've done this, so far our response rates have been anywhere between 27 and 35%. Qualified lists, quantified lists, but nobody had access to that level of information until we could. Is this list expensive? Yeah, it's really expensive, okay? But did we prove that it works? Absolutely. Now, how do we make this affordable so that we can all do the same thing? I'm not going to bore you. You know this geographic, demographic, psychographic. This is the one that's most interesting, is sales stage. And sales stage segmentation asks the question, where is this person in the sales workflow? Are they a prospect? Are they a customer? Are they a loyal customer? Or are they a former customer? By the way, these were all defined by Don Peppers, who's got a superb book on them. Key point, if I can give you any statistic that I hope changes your point of view, because it certainly changed mine. In the United States, we spend 26 times in prospecting what we do in customer retention. 26 times. From the viewpoint of the C-suite, from your executives, it is more important for you to get new customers than it is for you to keep those customers. And I will share with you something that I think becomes the most important. If you want to have a future track, you go to those C-suite folks and you say to them, well, how do we keep our customers? We need a newsletter. We need website. We need social media. We need an outreach. We need to be able to get to our customers and incentivize them. We need a reward system. And they think, great, that's fabulous. What's that going to cost? And the reality is, those companies that can keep their customers loyal, first of all, will get the best lifetime value off those customers. But let me give you an idea parenthetically. If you do the math, the cost of prospecting, if you cannot keep that customer long enough, you will never be able to amortize the cost of prospecting into the lifetime value of a customer. I mean, that's the truth. So, this was actually really fun. The two websites that I absolutely want you to have, and I've got this at the end, but the two websites you must have. The first one is directmarketingiq.com. This is world-class research. This company is so freaking bright, doing so much beautiful, extraordinary research. And they own a company, this is the second website, they own a company who is called whosmailingwhat.com. Direct Marketing IQ is a free membership. Whosmailingwhat.com is a paid membership. But here's the interesting thing. With whosmailingwhat.com, at any given time, they have 400,000 direct mail pieces that they are scanning to look for trends and fads. So we called them up and we said, all right, I'm doing a number 10 envelope. I need an envelope teaser. What are the top 20 envelope teasers? They went, no problem. Honest to God, Trish called them up. We gave them the question. We had this response in under 30 minutes because they had that research right at hand. Envelope teasers? Sure, here, no problem. Boom, dang. So here's the top envelope teasers. The other thing that they did was they said, and oh, by the way, and this is in your book, by the way, what are the most powerful words that you should be using? So, you, new, save, I can't read crap. Sorry. Discovery, money, free, easy, love, safety, guarantee, health, results, and proven. So Trish sends me this list. I started laughing. She said, why are you laughing? I said, because except for a couple of these words, this is exactly the list of words that I was taught when I was in design school to do out of door. Because here's the interesting thing, and this is a great takeaway. The rules of thumb that we learned 30 plus years ago for out of door are now the current rules of engagement. How many, so back then it was, you're in a car, you're going 60 miles an hour. How many words can you read? 6 to 8. How long will that take? 3 to 5 seconds. Today, in today's engagement rules, it is in fact 3 to 5 seconds, 6 to 8 words until they hit the delete button. Why was I laughing? Because I just read a white paper that said this is the group of words that you should be incorporating in your subject line in emails to get people to open emails. And they said 3 to 5 second engagement, 6 to 8 words. And so, interestingly enough, some rules still hold, some don't. I love this. This is so cool. This was written by two of the top direct mail writers. And they said, essentially, there are, in fact, 7 different points of view that are used in virtually every campaign in advertising: fear, greed, guilt, anger, exclusivity, salvation, and flattery. And what they said was, interestingly enough, if I want to be able to stay in front of somebody on a regular basis, but I want to be able to change the way that I say it, all I have to do is change the point of view. So, perfect example, flattery. Great moms like you know exactly the nutrition your kids need. Fear. Aren't you worried when your kids leave the house they're not getting the nutrition that they need? Anger. Doesn't it piss you off the way the fast food companies lure your children into bad nutrition? So you get the point. Nutrition is the key. All the different ways that we get to it. what they found was that, in fact, most campaigns, all campaigns, either use one of these or a combination of the two to be able to write the copy from a different point of view. So yeah, I think it's very, very interesting. I love this. Trish calls me up. She's laughing like crazy. She said, I just scanned something and I'm sending it to you. You're not going to believe it. She received this in the mail. Don't disappoint the child you care about. So it was for a book club for kids. And of course, she signed up for it. They got her. I thought, you know, here we are. We're supposed to be so good about this. We're not. Anyway, let's move real quickly. Probably the one thing that we spend probably more time on now than anything else is engagement techniques. And engagement means, how do I get, when you receive this in the mail, that you are immediately focused, you are interested, and you're responding. So this actually came to us from who'smailingwhat.com, and what they found was that there are so many new opening mechanisms for envelopes, and they tested them, and they found out, in fact, that these get better opening rates than a standard number 10 by quite a lot. Now, that you can see that some of them are really sophisticated, where as you're opening, you get a secret message underneath, double window, things like that. Please, 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 I cannot emphasize strongly enough, if you're going to be using envelopes, talk to the envelope companies, have them show you what they have. You'd be amazed by what they can do. One of the techniques that I personally use is when I do a campaign, I will talk to my print representative, and I'll say, how many envelopes do I have to print flat to convert to get to that break-even point? It's not as much as you think. It allows me to use beautiful papers. Also, the thing that I've been doing a lot lately is I've been printing my envelopes digitally, multiple up on a sheet, and then having them trimmed down, and then turning them, and having a completely unique envelope so that when you get it in the mail and it's teal, you know, with a double window, and you're like, whoa, damn, gotcha. That's an opening mechanism. Again, please, this is probably the most important statistic I think that you can use particularly when you're trying to get budget through. Marketing using special finishing effects can increase sales by 18%. This came from the Specialty Graphics and Imaging Association. These are offset printers and screen printers and flexo printers. They did the research, and this was their number, and we couldn't be more excited when we saw it, because we certainly believe it. I don't know how many of you have got a copy of this. This is the standard 5. Please, 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 I am telling you now, I don't have that many left. If you don't have a copy, get a copy. This is the Bible of special effects printing, and you can get this at sappietc.com, but there's just not that many left. We are now out of print on a lot of our pieces. We're not going to go back and reprint them. We will do a PDF of them, but this is all tactile. This is exactly the difference between ink on paper and print techniques versus digital marketing and advertising. You cannot push these techniques out onto a smartphone or onto a tablet. Not yet. Will we someday? Yeah, possibly. I love visual tricks, okay? I think they're fun. I think people really appreciate them if they're done well and they're done in good taste. This is one that I thought, damn, were they smart. It came out, as you can see, it's got a little grommet just up at the top. And they're talking about this whole new beer. And then they want you to open it, and it swings open, and it pours the beer. I mean, stop and think of it. How simple was this? This is not expensive at all. It's a grommet, okay? But the fact that it worked as well as it does, and that the audience knows that you're speaking up to them rather than down with a wonderful visual trick, I think can work extraordinarily well. Whenever you can, depending on your audience, any kind of specialty piece. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Structural Graphics. They're a really interesting company. They specialize in pop-ups. They specialize in specialty. They have a new company called Red Paper Plane, Plane.com. And they've taken a lot of their top designs, some of them that are rubber band operated, that pop open and that kind of stuff. And what they've done is that they've created them in a way that they print them in millions, and that you can go in and just drop into a template your logo or your customer's logo and message, etc. But they've got it down to a price point where you can, honest to God, you can buy like 5, 10, 25. Some of them are expensive pieces, but like the video that I told you about, the OLED, they actually have the product with the OLED that you can download your own video and change the content, and they've got it down to, you can get 5. It runs about $1.25, $1.30 to send it first class. But imagine that you can send a customized message to a select audience with a video. Nobody will not watch the video. Believe me.